Interesting journey for us to be sitting here today. Mine's a little unconventional, but I am a strong believer that your past does not determine your future. However, it does shape who you are and how you contribute to the world. Hi, my name is Bibe and I'm a 38-year-old mother of 4, business owner, community advocate. I've got one of those Scouts badges that just seems to drop down for many different situations, and that's because life's an adventure, and I always say I'm never going to do a day where I feel like there's a song unsung. My stories are a little unique to others, although there are many that are probably dealing with some of the same challenges. And at the age of 14, I became a heroin addict. But by the time I was 21, I got out of all of that. And although I was in the midst of, those terrible years of addiction through 14 to 21, I managed my first restaurant when I was 16, my first hotel when I was 18. So I always knew that I was capable and highly functioning, but I was stuck in this prison of addiction. And when I got out of all of that by the time I was 21, I just knew that I wanted to give back. I always knew that I wanted to help people, and so I started working in community service. And after 16 years of working in community service, I've done a lot of advocacy work and really championed community issues. And although I also started my own business 15 years ago, and I know that it's shaped different perspectives in me. And so this is part of what's compelled me into the political discussions and issues around policies. And although, like I said, I've got an area of my past that has shaped some of my character and shaped some of my experiences.
But I suppose growing up, there didn't necessarily feel like there was a lot of stability or sometimes personal security. So, when I went to school back in Brisbane in high school, social life and peer networks and stuff probably became a little bit more important than schooling work. Because I was actually a school captain and school ducks when I was in primary school. But I hit high school and kind of just started on a different trajectory. And so I started on smoking pot. No 14-year-old starts smoking pot going, gee, I want to be a heroin addict. But that was the Alice in Wonderland hole that I fell down, and I became a heroin addict for 7 years. And in the last 3 years that I was on heroin, and I heard somebody say earlier that we've all got a story to tell, and everyone's story is very different, albeit there's a lot of similarities. And the last 3 years that I was on drugs, I was probably off them more than I was on them. I did 12-step program, acupuncture, meditation, 12-step rehab, counselling, geographicals, so you name it. I tried everything, and it wasn't until I was in my early 20s that I met a doctor in Brisbane called Stuart Rees. Has anyone met Stuart Rees? Yeah. And I went in and I said, Stuart, this is my problem, it's addiction. And he said, oh, you need Jesus. And I said, no, I need a prescription. He said, no, you need Jesus. I'm like, isn't he the guy at the end of my street that sells hash? And so I sort of started a bit of a journey then with Stuart, and I got involved with a little church like this. And I remember, sitting outside even in the rain, smoking, going, Connie Farm, these people are crazy. I actually went out to Dayborough on a halfway house. I actually had some triad guys that were in the program that I'd smoked pot with the night before, and they came running up to me going, here, you need to hold this because they're about to search our stuff. And I remember just looking at it and just going, wow, I just don't want any part of this. I don't know what's different, but I just want to stay the course with this. And within a week, I was back in rooms with people smoking pot, and my twin sister and all of my friends. And I remember sitting on the floor and talking to them about this Jesus, and all of a sudden these stoned people were spinning out on me. And I remember thinking, wow, I could be a peer that causes pressure for the right things, for the right ways. And I knew even through my addiction that, I had this small voice inside of me that kept saying, you're made for more than this, your life is made for more than this.
We are today at Canberra's Parliament House. It's been a long and interesting journey for us to be sitting here today. So my role is community engagement strategies, and that has meant that we've been out and seen firsthand the devastation that families and businesses have experienced with the floods, ripping through their properties and tearing houses off slabs, and so there's been a lot of work that we've been fortunate to do and lives that we've been able to touch over the last few months, but there's still a lot more work to do, because although the water has receded, there's still a lot of people that are scrambling to rebuild their lives, and this is a lot of what I like to contribute to, and some of our federal politicians and state politicians. I've been fortunate to live a pretty colourful life, and life is full of adventures. I've realised that there's lots of different chapters in the storybook, and I'm not going to let anyone else hold the pen to the story that is my life, but I also know that I need and I enjoy being on the journey with lots of other people, and so gathering people for the things that we do is something that's always been really important to me, a real priority to me, because I was moved years ago by Mother Teresa quote, which was, what is the greatest epidemic circulating the earth's surface? Is it famine? Is it poverty? Is it leprosy? No, it's loneliness. And so many people become isolated in their own situations, their busyness, their circumstances, and I really love doing life with other people, and so to gather other people along for the journey and the adventure and the fun and the downs as well, the things that sometimes get us down in the moments that become challenging, means that we've got people that'll get in the trenches with us, and when you get in the trenches with people, it means that those relationships become richer.